My fellow Indians, if you watch this video, you will also support me calling upon my good friend Prime Minister Narendra Modi's resignation. What he has done is unbelievable. He mishandled the corona crisis, which costed millions of lives. He could have prevented the elections and Kumbh Mela. He also made so many promises, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikash, prosperity for all, equality, justice, bringing black money, creating jobs, helping farmers, saving women. He has miserably failed in every promise he made commitment. Therefore, 67 world leaders are supporting me. 18 of the 25 political parties of India are supporting me. I can't even explain how great danger we are in. Therefore, I'm asking him to immediately resign and step down. And let us all work together to hold China accountable so that we can make Indian economy double every 5 years. In 10 years, will be better and greater than China. We can unite Indians and Americans and the peace-loving people of the world. Yes, I have done it for 30 years. We can do it again. Watch this video, share with everybody. Let's save secular India.
Hi, I'm Evander Holyfield. I have known Dr. K. Paul for 22 years, and I have traveled the world with him. I've seen Global Peace Rally with millions of people. God anointing is on him to help the orphan, the widows, and the poorest of the poor, and the richest of the rich, include Carlos Slim, one of the richest men in the world. I have seen President and Prime Minister meet him at the airport and take his advice to make the world a better place. He would be the right person to lead India for peace and prosperity for all Indians. He would make a great Prime Minister.
Dr. K. Paul is the only Indian leader who's been endorsed by each of the 7 different major religious leaders of India, including Hindu, Muslim, and Christian. He's also the only leader endorsed by all 18 different political party members of the Parliament of India, and that includes prime ministers and strategic cabinet members. Dr. Paul has been endorsed by most Protestant and Catholic leaders throughout the world. He's been a proven friend of the U.S. for the past 30 years, and someone American and world leaders can trust and depend on to work in true partnership form. Equally, some 200 countries of the world have come to trust him as an advocate for peace and stability. Some of the world's wealthiest Muslim and American business leaders who've stopped investing in India due to fanatic extremist Hindu killings of Indian Christians and Muslim minorities over the past 4 years are urgently encouraging Dr. Paul to run and to lead India. Therefore, a global host committee of political, business, and religious leaders has come together to invite other key leaders to meet with Dr. Paul for the express purpose of advising and guiding him so that India and America, the world's 2 largest democracies, together can lead the world with true and fair secular leadership.
Bring them together. That's my mission. How beautiful it is to see our brothers and sisters to dwell in unity. Yes. So when I was with Dr. K. Paul in Sudan, he was requested by the president to address the parliament there. And there we had the 7 religious leaders. And Dr. Paul was the 8th one. So I asked Dr. Paul, we are the 7 rainbow colors. What about you? He says, I represent the entire humanity of the world. Thank you. Am I right, Dr. Paul? Yes. Yes. So I always consider him as the ambassador of peace.
I had the opportunity to tour with Dr. Paul in the year 2001, and he took me to several countries, and I came to know personally the service he is rendering to the suffering masses in various countries. Today, Paul has been recognized as one of the most important peacemakers.
And when he talks, the power that he gets, it is not ordinary power. the power that he has got it from the Yeshu Christ.
So far I have heard that you are a global peace president, but one has always seen to believe is only once you see something, then you tend to believe. And today, I'm more than satisfied that you are worthy of being the president for this organization.
We can now say with a high degree of confidence that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be defeated in the upcoming elections. Yet again, another devastating and humiliating defeat for Modi was handed down in one of the most important state elections in India. On May 17th of 2018, Prime Minister Modi's government swore in Mr. Yediyurappa as the Chief Minister of Karnataka State without enough seats to do so. But within just 24 hours, in a historic and unprecedented move, India's Supreme Court disqualified Modi's candidate. And instead, former Prime Minister Deva Gowda's son, Kumaraswamy, was sworn in on May 23rd as Chief Minister. Prime Minister Deva Gowda has served as Dr. Paul's Global Peace Ambassador for over 20 years, traveling the world with him, including to the U.S., where Dr. Paul and the Prime Minister were hosted by former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich, then Majority Leader Dick Armey, and Majority Whip Tom DeLay, among other prominent cabinet members. Further adding to the humiliation of Modi and his disgraced party was the fact that at the swearing-in ceremony, each of the 12 major opposition leaders of India, including Sonia and Rahul Gandhi, attended the event as a show of unity against the Modi government. Dr. Paul was invited to participate in the one-of-a-kind historic event, but due to unfortunate circumstances was unable to attend. However, he did send 2 of his staff to attend in his place as a show of support. The fact is that Modi's ruling party continues to lose most state elections since becoming prime minister, a reflection of his inability to govern fairly. Most predict he will be wiped out politically in the upcoming national elections, similar to the way he was wiped out in the capital of New Delhi, winning only 3 seats out of 70 due to horribly failed policies and his radical, communal, anti-secular agenda. Dr. Paul, the founder and president of Global Peace Initiative and Save Secular India, is highly regarded by tens of millions of followers and has largely been endorsed by all major political parties and religious leaders for his selfless peace and humanitarian work. Many of these political leaders and many others expect him to run for prime minister, but Dr. Paul says there are several other competent secular leaders who attended the swearing-in who could become PM, including former Prime Minister Deva Gowda, Mamta Banerjee, Mayawati, Kejriwal, Akhilesh Yadav, Rahul Gandhi, and others. However this plays out, it is high time for all the world's political and business leaders to come together to save secular India and its persecuted and increasingly fearful hundreds of millions of Christians and other religious minorities. We must work together to make the U.S. and India, the world's 2 largest democracies, leaders in promoting peace, security, stability, and economic prosperity, with Dr. Paul's much-needed help and leadership in India. I'm Dave McQuaid. I've known Dr. K. Paul for nearly 20 years, and in the past served as executive director of his organization. I've traveled the world with him. In fact, I was with him on the ground in war-torn Liberia when he restored peace between the 5 warring factions, and this despite all odds. It was a harrowing experience for me. But miraculously, he's done this again and again over the years, helping stop multiple wars around the world. He's been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for doing so, as reported in the Associated Press, Reuters, CNN, the BBC, and more. Leaders of both Pakistan and India have gone on record to say he's an internationally respected peacemaker and uniter. For this reason, he can unite all the major 18 political parties in India to save secular India. And this would include uniting the 10% followers of Jesus, the 20% Muslim population, and the 90% majority of secular Hindus. He's been thanked in writing by dozens of presidents and prime ministers, including U.S. presidents like Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, and George W. Bush, as well as by top U.S. Christian leaders like Billy Graham. In fact, Dr. Paul was called one of the next Billy Grahams in the New York Times, and he's been called, quote, the world's most popular evangelist on the cover of New Republic magazine. His presidential summits regularly bring together dozens of presidents from around the world, making him a leader of leaders. It's time to save secular India. As a Hindu-born true follower of Jesus, Dr. Paul would make an excellent prime minister with his compassion for all of India. Friends, as we all know now, the world has changed radically since January of 2020. Literally everyone on Earth has been affected directly or indirectly with the Chinese coronavirus, a virus we now know was likely developed in a Wuhan laboratory as one that would be virally transmitted from human to human. Sadly, that's exactly what happened, bringing death, destruction, and unthinkable damage around the entire globe. Since early March of 2020 in the press and on television, Dr. Paul has been sounding the alarm about the Chinese government's cover-up to obscure the origins of the virus. And this after allowing it to quickly spread from Wuhan to the world, while decidedly limiting traffic and travel from Wuhan to the rest of China. Dr. Paul took the bold step of suing the Chinese government in the courts and demanding the truth. He's spoken to many world leaders who agree with his decided course of action. Thankfully, several U.S. legislators and prominent newscasters have come to agree with Dr. Paul's position, one of the very first to speak openly about it. While such vast human suffering and loss can never begin to be compensated, Dr. Paul is requesting that China pay trillions of dollars to the affected nations of the world, $100,000 to every family who lost someone due to the coronavirus. He's also demanding that the Chinese government formally apologize to the devastated global community. To this end, he's now calling upon all world leaders and global media to speak boldly on behalf of so many who have no voice. He's also suggesting that nations who have borrowed money from China should unilaterally forego repayment until China does the right thing and compensates the world. He's imploring all 8 billion citizens of the world to unite and hold the Chinese government and others involved accountable. As he stated, his friend Prime Minister Modi horribly failed India with his tepid response to the Chinese coronavirus. Dr. Paul says not only did he fail in each of his top commitments to India, such as his promise of continued secularism, creating jobs, the support of farmers, the support of youth and women, improving India's currency problems and economic standing, but that he failed to lethal effect in handling the deadly second wave of the virus starting in February of 21. Dr. Paul asked repeatedly that the March and April elections simply be postponed, but massive rallies and long election lines across India went forward unabated, as did the bath in the Ganges River, normally a wonderful event, where 3.5 million came together at the wrong time, perhaps going down in history as the world's largest super spreader event, as each then returned to India's hundreds of thousands of villages. Honest reporting now says that 4 million in India perished. Others insist that a vast multiple of that number have tragically died as a result of such irresponsible policy. So Dr. Paul, along with many other major political party leaders of India who are joining with him, is demanding that PM Modi step up and take moral responsibility for these failed policy decisions and resign honorably, handing leadership over to his number 2 Home Minister, Amit Shah, or someone else until national elections can be safely held again. Finally, Dr. Paul is calling upon all people of all faiths in India, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, or political party, to join him to save secular India, now or never. Please join the movement today at the web address on your screen and share this message to every Indian and peace-loving citizen of the world. Thank you.